Washington earlier this morning to meet with House Republicans. Congressional Republicans in both chambers will pick their leadership today. Today's White House meeting comes as Trump quickly announced a number of cabinet appointments. The latest include John Ratcliffe to be the CIA director. Ratcliffe was the director of national intelligence in the last Trump administration. Trump has also picked Pete Hegseth, Fox News host and Army veteran, to serve as defense secretary. These are positions that have to be confirmed by the Senate. The 78-year-old incoming president also announced the plan to create a new agency. He is calling it the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Elon Musk is in Washington today. You can see this picture of him. He's traveled with Trump aboard his plane. He poured more than $100 million into helping President-elect Trump win. Mr. Trump said the goal of this new department is to help dismantle government bureaucracy and to slash excess regulations. We know that Elon Musk was on Capitol Hill earlier today with the president-elect. Not clear whether he's also at the White House at this hour, but he has been with the president, advising him and being with him as they put together this new team for the White House. Now, Trump will retake the presidency with a much broader support among the American people than when he first took the oath of office in 2017. I want to show you the tape now from the Oval Office of the two presidents shaking hands.
Looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So,
good.
Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much, and thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
I want to give you a sense of what happens in the Oval Office there. That is the White House pool. Those are photographers, print reporters, radio, television reporters as part of a small pool that gets invited into the Oval Office to not only take pictures there, but sometimes to shout questions, because sometimes the president or president-elect will respond. In this case, they've decided not to respond, and the press pool is being shuffled out of the Oval Office. Want to go to Chief White House.
Making this a smooth transition. President Biden himself remembers all too well 4 years ago when then President Donald Trump did not extend that same courtesy to him, because Donald Trump was insisting that he had actually won the election and was going to stay in the Oval Office. And so all of the mechanics that you normally see with a transition, it takes months. It's extremely complicated. It's supposed to be very sophisticated to pave the way for the next administration. A lot of that didn't happen, Nora. And so today, President Biden making it clear in that meeting that he intends to do everything that he can to help the incoming president. Beyond that, beyond the two of them saying it was going to be a smooth transition, they really didn't have much in the way of compliments to pay to each other. Normally, when you see leaders there in the Oval Office sitting with the president, they at least exchange some niceties about what a great job the other has done. We didn't hear a lot of that today, but it is still a good sign that at least there is going to be more of a transition this time around than there was 4 years ago.
Nancy Cordes.
President-elect Trump shaking the hand of President Biden. Here's what I know, talking to people very close to both of these gentlemen. President Biden is sitting across from someone who did not defeat him. He beat Trump in 2020, and he obviously, as we all know, exited the race in 2024. And behind the scenes, many Biden allies still believe that President Biden would have beaten President-elect Trump if Biden was still on the ballot in 2024. And they say that behind the scenes, yes, President Biden dislikes President-elect Trump and how he's a danger to democracy in President Biden's view. But at the same time, they don't have this personal animus right now against each other. And it's interesting, President-elect Trump has been telling people behind the scenes he believes that President Biden is okay with him, that at the end of the day, he thinks President Biden, this is Trump's characterization, President Biden is angrier at Democrats for nudging him out of the race than he is at President-elect Trump. So for history, quite an intriguing dynamic between these two presidents sitting there in the Oval Office. On policy, Trump is telling people he wants to move quickly to cut a peace deal with Vladimir Putin, Volodymyr Zelensky, and have the United States, through Trump, be a broker of that deal.
House and in the Senate. And worth noting that President-elect Trump did meet with House Republicans ahead of that meeting with President Biden, where he thanked them for helping him win the election. He also appeared to joke that he does not intend to run again unless they, quote, do something. But in talking to Speaker Mike Johnson, he made clear to me just yesterday that this meeting was really an opportunity to congratulate the president-elect and really celebrate his victory and this mandate that Republicans believe they now have as a result of the outcome of the election. So in addition to those House elections, there are also, as you mentioned, the race underway for Senate Majority Leader, which is really remarkable. The first time in some 18 years that Senate Republicans will be electing a new leader. As you well know, Mitch McConnell has held on to that post as Majority and Minority Leader in the Senate for that period of time. He stepped down from leadership earlier this year, and so that race now underway to replace him between Senators John Thune, John Cornyn, and Florida Senator Rick Scott. So that election now.
24 Site News. Tom, you just watched this historic meeting, that historic handshake. What did you make of it?
Oh, I could not avoid watching that roaring fire in the fireplace. Especially.
It was roaring.
You know, as Robert Costa noted just then, I mean, the history of these two is intertwined and historic in American history. And it's just fraught. You know, I've written about this at 24 Site News a number of times back when Biden was still in the race, and I think we witnessed this in real time at the White House. I mean, go back to the first impeachment of Trump. It was over him trying to strong-arm Volodymyr Zelensky into investigating Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Carry it all the way through now. The January 6th, not a peaceful transfer of power. Just astounding, and also the very different readouts from the Biden and Trump people on how this dynamic is right now. Just two different worlds.
Yeah, no question. I want to talk a little bit about, the next Trump administration. We heard a lot this morning about what Republicans plan to do for their first 100 days in office.